Ambassador Krelnax of the Voxian Collective had witnessed many species petition the Galactic Council for recognition. Most came with reverence, offering tribute and technology assessments to prove their worth. The humans, however, arrived in a battered colony ship, asking only for trade routes and peaceful coexistence. The council chamber erupted in chittering laughter when humanity's representative, Commander Sarah Chen, presented their credentials. Their fastest vessels barely achieved 0.3 light speed. Their weapons still relied on chemical propulsion. They hadn't even discovered zero-point energy. Primitive, declared High Arbiter Vexthor, his crystalline form refracting the chamber's light into dismissive patterns. You possess nothing we need. Your worlds hold resources we can simply take. Return to your little solar system, humans, and perhaps in 10,000 cycles you might be worth our attention. Commander Chen's jaw tightened, but she maintained composure. We came in peace seeking partnership. Will you deny us that? Denied, Vexthor pronounced. Furthermore, Sol System and its surrounding parsecs are hereby designated as Galactic Reserve Territory. You will vacate your colonies beyond Earth within one standard cycle, or face consequences. Chen stood motionless for a moment that stretched into eternity. Then she spoke words that would be remembered across the galaxy. That is unfortunate. We hoped you'd be wiser. The council dismissed her statement as impotent posturing from a species barely capable of fusion reactors. They realized their error exactly 63 days later. The Voxian mining operation on Kepler 442b vanished first. 3,000 workers gone. The facility's distress call lasted 4 seconds before transmission ceased. When the Voxian fleet arrived, they found nothing but debris and a message burned into the planet's surface in letters visible from orbit. Leave human space. High Arbiter Vexthor convened an emergency session. A lucky strike, he declared. Perhaps they discovered explosives. Send the Third Fleet to Earth. Subjugate them properly. The Third Fleet, comprising 200 vessels that had conquered 17 civilizations, translated into Sol System with weapons primed. They found Earth's moon fortified with installations that shouldn't exist. Mars hosted shipyards building vessels at impossible speeds, and Earth itself was wrapped in a defensive grid that made their sensors scream warnings. Admiral Kreshtar of the Third Fleet opened communications. Surrender immediately, or... His flagship's shields collapsed as something struck them from a direction that didn't exist in normal space. 20 more vessels simply disappeared, folded into dimensions the Voxians didn't know were accessible. The remaining ships of the Third Fleet scattered, but mysterious strike craft pursued them, small, fast, and utterly lethal. Only one Voxian destroyer escaped to tell the tale. The council chamber fell silent as Kreshitar's recording played. They watched human fighters phase through solid matter, watched weapons that tore holes in space-time itself, watched targeting systems of impossible accuracy destroy ships before they could even lock on. How? Krelnax whispered. Their technology assessment showed primitive capabilities. Commander Chen's image appeared on every council member's communicator simultaneously, an intrusion into their most secure networks that shouldn't be possible. You looked at our ships and saw primitives, Chen said, her voice cold. You never asked why a primitive species would cross 15 light-years in a ship that, by your estimation, shouldn't work. You never questioned why we sought peace instead of conquest when we clearly reached your worlds. She leaned forward, and behind her, the council members could see something that froze their genetic memory with primal fear. Shipyards stretching across entire solar systems, vessels being constructed not in space but woven from folded dimensions, and weapons that made stars flicker. We've been traveling the stars for 3 centuries, Chen continued. We've fought wars against things that would make you weep. We've lost entire colonies to threats you can't imagine. We learned to hide, to appear weak, to seek allies instead of enemies. Vexthor's form flickered with colors indicating distress. Then why the deception? Because we're tired of war, Chen said simply. We wanted to see if this galaxy held anything worth saving. Any species wise enough to choose cooperation over domination. You failed that test. Krelnax found his voice. What do you want? Initially. Trade routes and peace now? Chen's expression hardened. You declared human space as your territory. We're reclaiming it. Every mining operation, every colonial outpost, every military installation within 50 parsecs of Sol. You have 72 hours to evacuate. After that, we will remove them. You cannot, Vexthor began. The feed cut off as 3 Council homeworlds experienced simultaneous seismic events, not attacks but demonstrations. Human vessels had appeared in their atmospheres, undetected until they wanted to be seen, and deployed resonance weapons that made entire continents shake. The message was clear: we could end you whenever we choose. The Galactic Council convened an emergency session for 3 days. Faction leaders argued for retaliation, for surrender, for negotiation. In the end, survival instinct won. They withdrew from human space. Humanity didn't pursue. They didn't conquer. They simply secured their borders and returned to their solar system, leaving the Council to contemplate their hubris. Krellnex, demoted but alive, spent his remaining years studying humanity's true history. He learned of the Cascade War against the AI Collective, the century of silence when humanity hid from the Devourers, and the desperate innovations born from species-ending threats. The Council had seen chemical rockets and called humans primitive. They hadn't realized those same humans had solved problems that would have destroyed the Council's entire civilization. They hadn't understood that appearing weak was humanity's greatest weapon, the trap that had saved them countless times. Now human trade ships visited Council space, conducting commerce with species wise enough to learn from the Council's mistake. Humanity's military remained hidden, their true capabilities unknown, their worlds protected by technology the galaxy couldn't comprehend. And in Council chambers across 1,000 worlds, a new axiom emerged: never mistake human restraint for human weakness. The galaxy had declared humanity primitive. Now the galaxy knew better.